It's the observation of the absolutely everyday, the little chips in particular paving stones and things, the cigarette ends and the chewing gum and all of the individual precise detail like of the newspaper stands. And then rather wonderfully this really neat idea of you with your camera, when of course the pictorial space in this isn't derived from looking through a camera lens. I think one experiences a picture like this in the same way that one experiences a real space, by walking through it and changing one's perspective, changing one's viewpoint with every step that you take. There's also the absolute specific quality of the light. It's a very particular time of year, a kind of autumn day, a very particular kind of light. It's not just the leafless trees that are telling you it's the autumn. It's that haze with the glowing lights and the lights on the taxi and the lights that you can see down at the end. It's really beautiful picture, made of a subject that I am sure nobody walking through this would ever stop and think, isn't this beautiful?
I'm not trying to make a realist painting. I think what I'm trying to do is to use that experience of being on location and passing through the urban landscape and turn that into a new credible reality. The views in the paintings don't really exist at all. The photography on location is just a visual document, it's just a record. And for Leicester Square, I was hemmed into their entranceway and taking photographs either side of the gateway, as well as down towards the tube and out onto the pavement. Looking straight ahead of me, I took this photograph with a wide-angled lens, and you can see that just in front of me are these large double doors. What's also very telling about this photograph is that it's poor quality, and that's quite characteristic of the material that I collect on location. But I quite like that. It means back in the studio that the reality that I import isn't so insistent. I like to be inventive, I like to be creative, I like really to start from scratch and not feel that I have to be too faithful to reality. I think it's interesting that an artist like Francis Bacon, whose work is so different from mine, also preferred to work using photographs for the same reason. All my paintings are based on small drawings. At the outset, those drawings look rather cubist in nature. They're very fragmented as I'm struggling with all the different spaces. But gradually that fragmentation is eased as I find some kind of totality, and at that point I'll start working on a large canvas. The drawing then begins again just as a broad sketch, and then I'll try out lots of different ideas, and the line becomes firmer and more certain as the spaces become fixed and the formal echoes begin to repeat around the painting. I think the idea of basing a picture on a short walk through the world is quite an interesting one. For me anyway, it means I can't use Renaissance perspective, which is based on standing at one fixed point. So if we look at the centre of the painting of Leicester Square, we can see that the various planes that recede into space don't actually converge to a single point on the horizon line. And if we look at the underdrawing, we can see a whole range of vanishing points which cluster in the distance, and I call that a vanishing zone. And that's pretty characteristic of the underdrawing throughout the painting. It means that we can see around corners. It also plays with the idea of binocular vision rather than the monocular vision of a camera lens. But with all those twists and turns, it's important that the painting finds some kind of stability. And for Leicester Square, that central blue column I think was really important to hold everything still. And then of course there are the little formal echoes, like the curving line in the distance above the traffic lights, which is echoed in the bottom right-hand corner.